You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Chief Johnson.
The AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and Bing.com and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AFTERBUZZ TV's R&B Divas After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's R&B Divas After Show.
Hey, here we go again. If you love me, Bing is for doing. We here with another episode of R&B Divas, Divas Last Stand. I'm your host, Larice Shamar.
I am Alfred Nolan Thomas II.
And I am Bamm Ericsen.
Man, what do y'all think about this episode tonight?
It was a little turned up.
Yeah, drama. Nikki drama.
Yes, Nikki drama.
Yes.
But we got to save Nikki for last because there's
so much to talk about.
There's so much to talk about with not only Nikki but the people that surrounded all of the issues with that.
Yes.
So let's go with the easy stuff first. Let's talk about Kiki and Michael at Walmart shopping.
Funny.
Wanting another baby.
First of all, they're at Walmart, and for them they put like, oh, Walmart advertising, oh, product placement, thank you. But the whole overall thing with Nikki, you know, she's just starting her career right now, like really starting her career because she's in the studio, she's making great music right now. She just had a little baby boy, but now she wants another girl. You know, and her thing is that she already has 6 kids.
Yes.
Already, but she wants another one.
I didn't know that Kiki Wyatt was only 30 years old.
And popping out a baby factory.
You know what? I did not know that. It kind of took me by surprise. I was like 30. I had to like rewind my TV. I was like 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of 30, 6 kids.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that.
She
but at the same
looks
time, like she's still young enough right now. I think she's probably one of the youngest one of all the divas right now because she's 30 years old. You know, she's at that time where she still can kind of go out there, still make great music for the next 10, 15 years because she has that youth. But I would say let's kind of pause on the baby factory and give yourself to 35 and really try in the next 5 years to really focus on your career so that you're able to basically like, hey, I can put myself out there as a solo artist. My career is great, so now I kind of take that time off, have another child, and then kind of relive my life as a single solo artist.
Kiki thinks that she can do both. She thinks she can have her 7th child. She really wants a girl.
Yeah, I just feel she's feeling a high horse.
Yeah.
I just think overall what it is, she feel like she can do both because, like, again, she's a mom, and you know she feel like, hey, you know, as long as I'm still continuously making music, but at the same time, like when she had her other children, she didn't have a solo career.
But this is a point where you see once again, Mike, how being strong, quiet works. He knows how to talk to her. He knows how to go ahead and be. Let her know that your career's in front. You got all these things going. He's someone that, although he takes the storm and the brunt of her abuse, he's still very much a powerful person within that relationship and shows his opinion, shows his manager skills within working with his wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michael said that, why don't we discuss having babies after their youngest 6, I guess number 6, the youngest?
Yeah.
Once he potty trains, let's discuss that. But
I think that's him just trying to get breathing air.
But of course, like,
he's just trying to shut up in Walmart.
Because he's what, like 9 months now? The baby's like 9 months. He should be potty trained next like 3 or 4 months.
Yeah,
I mean,
totally.
Ideally, you would think that the baby would be potty trained within the next 3 or 4 months. Like, hey, you know, I'm trying to go to the bathroom on my own, at least.
Maybe Michael thinks if he keeps putting it off that she will eventually forget.
No.
But you know, she has 6 boys, and so she wants...
That is crazy, though.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Like, my sister has 5 girls.
Oh, gosh.
I'm like, 5 girls and one guy?
That many babies, period, at one time.
I mean, still, but like, I can't imagine how she feel like with 6 boys and no girls. Maybe she's just not designed to have boys. I mean, girls.
Does she want a boy?
Who, my sister?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah, she definitely did. She definitely do. Still do.
Okay.
So, hey.
Well, good luck.
But don't keep trying. Yeah. Don't keep trying.
Yeah, well, good luck, Kiki. Gosh, she's 30, so just, I mean...
She's still young enough to do it.
If she wants to keep having babies until she gets a girl. Oh gosh, I don't know.
I think like really like once her career kind of like really get on track and she's really kind of being successful in her solo career, I think she'll kind of put the baby in the back burner because she would really understand that, okay, well, even though I want another child, but my career is first right now. And that's what Michael just really trying to focus on, is that, yo, your career is first. You know, it's the first time you're having your own solo album. It's really trying to focus on this and really kind of like market yourself, brand yourself, and just make everyone aware of who you are as an individual and as an artist.
Totally, especially for the fact that she has a hit song out right now. That's with Avant. And, you know, prior to that, we probably hadn't seen or heard of Kiki probably since maybe 2000-ish and two or three.
Probably 1 through 4 with the kids. And then she was like, you know, 2 more.
Yeah, it's been a long time. So, I mean, hooray for her that, you know, she kind of got the single out with Avant. And I just really want her to kind of like focus on her career right now. And don't worry about the kid, because you just have a newborn right now, 9 months. You should really kind of focus on your career right now, because that's the most important thing. And that's what Michael is focusing on. As a husband, as a manager, as a man, I
know that you got to juggle that money like crazy.
Yeah, man. Just to juggle her is kind of like, ooh. Man.
Speaking of juggling, let's talk about Selena and her mom, Brenda.
Man, like, her mom is off the, whoo. Like, she is a
Can't change a woman like that.
Like, she's a cold piece of material, man, because, like, she really has no feeling, no filtration. And it's like, it's either her way or no way, in a sense. You know, it's kind of odd to say that, but, you know, she's really kind of like one of those rock-hard people that you can't change.
And I think that's why her and Selena go through so much, because like they even said when they go to the psychiatrist that you're just like me, and that's actually what she admires. I think you know, it's one of those situations where like they are alike and they feed off the same energy, which actually feeds into them arguing. I think it was a great point for Selena to actually take the time and be like, you know what, I think we need to go to a psychiatrist. And then she came at her wrong, and the mom tried to check her and make another issue out of it, and she was smart enough to be like, I'll change what I'm saying. But I think this is something we should do. I thought that was like a prolific moment for them as a
I think the funniest part when they was in the kitchen, and she was like, did you go to college for that? When you asked me what the alcohol is.
When she says, do you have a degree for that? I feel the same exact way when it comes to Angie Stone, because she thinks that she's Dr. Phil or Alana or
Angie Stone, I disagree. Angie Stone just have experience working with a lot of individuals, and like again, like, you know, she kind of like transitioned herself to be successful at any degree, you know, and I think a lot of times she just kind of gave her advice from experience.
I understand that, but if I believe that the three of us all have expertise in different areas.
Yeah.
But Black, you're a dancer, so if you were always coming to us about, you know, dancer moves, or hey, when you do something and you're just always constantly giving your opinion, because you are well versed in that, well, hell, I didn't ask for your opinion as far as dancing. Larice, you know, you're good with business and other stuff, but if you're constantly throwing stuff at me and I don't ask, shut up. That's just how I feel. And I feel like Angie Stone does that.
It just depends on the situation. Cause like a lot of times she just kind of like want to get everyone's opinion and then kind of like give her opinion about it. But at the same time, you know, she's looked at as the leader, the mother figure, and it's her job to kind of at least kind of put her 2 cents in. And that's what sometimes she put a little more than 2 cents. But at the same time, I just think that you got to respect her for her position amongst the divas.
I think it ends up becoming a situation where Faith was trying to kind of align her with the girls and kind of become that within the show. And it just, you know, like I said, I think it's a task that isn't easy, especially with these bunch of women. So it doesn't make it easier for her. But I think, as you see even through this episode, you see how it started to roll over in the right way as, you know, Nikki's going crazy and all these underhanded things. It becomes Angie who steps in the forefront to actually, you know, confront her about it. I think that was the right person for the job.
Well, okay. Well, I jumped the gun. My bad. I got on Angie just for a second because we were talking about the whole doctor thing, which,
We love
you know,
Angie.
Well, but going back to Selena and the mom, and so when they decided to do the therapy with Dr. Shay, so it was all the sisters in there with the mom, and I mean, I have to respect Brenda's honesty. She's honest. She says what she feels, and I mean, what can you do?
But at the same time, like, again, like Alfred said, it's like, hey, they're just alike, you know, whereas that they say how they feel, but at the same time, Selena has a softer side. And I think the softer side is because she has that relationship with her children and with her sister, versus her mom didn't have a relationship with Selena, and Selena's kind of fighting and wanting that relationship with her mom, but her mom just looking at it like, hey, you're just another individual in my life, which is kind of a bad thing. And like when they're in therapy, you know, she's like, that's just not me, you know, to be emotional, to basically to speak out about my feelings.
That's like, but that's also something that I didn't agree with when it came to Selena's choices. Like, you finally get your mother to go to the psychiatrist with you and go through this therapy. The last thing you should do is, knowing that your mother isn't an emotional savvy person, is get emotional after your second word coming out. Knowing, like, I think it's one of those, like, you have these mechanisms that kids use with their parents in order to get their way or really get under their skin. And you would know that Selena should know that her mom wouldn't feed well with that kind of energy. And maybe because she had the show and had the sisters there and everything there, she wanted to go for that kind of way of expressing herself. But she could have had an actually adult conversation. Her mother was open at that point. But when she started doing the weak voice, you even saw in her mom's face like, oh, Lord.
You know she's like, I don't do this.
But you could tell she already knows her mama don't do that.
And not only that, but what was also interesting was she said that, you know, they don't do hugs.
But the sisters do hugs now, but the mom don't.
They do hugs now that they're adults, but, you know, growing up as kids, you know, they didn't do hugs. And, of course, they were, the mom, you know, called them names such as bitches and things like that. But, I mean, I
think that just opened up to show the world their kind of dysfunction. I think there's a lot of families out there that don't know how to communicate, don't know how to express themselves with the problems that they were already facing with her mom having drugs and alcohol and smoking is a problem or obstacle. I'm sure there was plenty of stuff in the way that got in the way of the touching and natural connection that you have with your family. So, I mean, I thought it was just sad. I was like, see, that's why they're like that. That's why she's ready to kick her mama out as soon as her mama gets in, because like it's just so many levels of...
There's so many blockage up between her and her mom, but at the same time, I just think that the therapy session kind of took a vulnerable... Like, Selena became vulnerable. You know, she really... And I think she's really kind of like want to get in touch with her mom and really want to have her mom in her life and kind of have that relationship what she had with her children. But at the same time, her mom, she don't see that. Only thing she sees is that, hey, I'm in your house, I can't smoke, I can't drink. You know, life for me is like real miserable. But at the same time, it's just like Selena want to reach out to her because she want that relationship, because now her and her sisters have a better relationship than I'm pretty sure what they had when they was children, because of the mom situation with the drugs and the alcohol and how she raised them to basically to be tough and not to show any emotions. But now they have feelings because, again, like she said, we hug, you know. And it's kind of fun the way Celicia did it. She was like, oh, like, should we hug? And then it's like, okay, yeah, we hug. Not like a real genuine hug. Like, if I want to hug my sister, I'm just going to hug her and be like, not ask, but just hug her and say, hey, I appreciate you, and that's it.
Now that you guys, as we're discussing this, I think that for them to have the family counseling with Dr. Shay, I don't think it was the right time, because at the very end of their session, she says that she wants, you know, she's thinking about having a beer and a cigarette. And so I think before she can have peace and get to the resolution with her kids, she needs to have her own therapy session with her own issues before she can speak with the family. And so she has an abuse issue. So I think she needs to take care of that first, because once you take care of those issues, then I think she would be prone to discuss more things with the kids, because she'll be able to recognize what it is that's causing her problems to want to drink and want to smoke while she's actually in a therapy session with her family.
But I think the biggest issue is that she don't want to go to therapy. She don't want the help. So, you know, by Selena kind of taking the initiative, like, hey, let's all go to therapy, I think it's a starting point for her where she can kind of realize, like, hey, you know what? I do have an issue. I do have a problem. And I think as long as they continue to go to therapy, that it will actually kind of break the ground between her, Selena, and the family, because now she realizing and she's seeing that I have these issues, I have these problems, I have to address them. Even though I'm not going to a drug or alcohol abuse counselor, but at the same time, I can kind of talk about my issues in my past. And a lot of times, that's what it takes for people, just being able to talk to somebody who's unbiased to resolve issues.
I just think everything was on point until it got to the point where she got too emotionally connected to what was going on. I thought she was in a very strong position, and I mean, it takes a lot, especially when it's something that you're a part of, but being that she saw that that was a proper way to finally address what's going on, or at least get to a point where they were almost about to see eye to eye, I felt like she just dropped the ball when she just got too emotionally in there and started, like, getting her mom to be caught up in the wrong emotion where she was listening, aware, and probably would have had a great conversation. But
I think a lot of time what it is, people feel like, hey, if I show some type of emotion, maybe you might respond and show some emotion to me. Even if you don't respond with emotions towards me, at least you'll understand that, you know what, this person really cares about me. It's not just that, you know, they always disagree with me, but they really care about me because they're able to cry for me.
Okay. Well, I have some things that I want to address and I want to bring to your attention. I want to bring to you guys' attention Serial Buddies, which stars Maria Menounos, Henry Winkler, Christopher Lloyd. It is out on DVD and iTunes. So what you guys need to do, we would really appreciate it, is if you guys go to our iTunes website on AfterBuzz TV and go and download or purchase Serial Buddies. It is a laugh out loud comedy. I actually saw it twice, and so it's a really funny movie. Like I said, it stars Maria Menounos, Henry Winkler, Christopher Lloyd, Kathy Lee Gifford, and a bunch of other all-star cast. So iTunes, Serial Buddies. Okay.
good.
So before we go into Monifah and her fam, do we have anything else we want to say in regards to Selena and her mom? And
no, I mean, I really just think they just kind of really work on the situation. I think, like, now it's a breaking ground, so I think they're able to grow on that as long as they kind of see eye to eye. Again, it's that open communication that they have to have amongst each other in order to, like, to grow or even have any type of relationship with each other. Because I'm pretty sure it's been pretty intense with her mom living in the house. So hopefully now
she's got a lot going on. Like, that's the biggest thing. I mean, the whole gist of her and music coming together and having that album. I actually like seeing them work together. I like that whole process. So it's like it's hard to really be able to effectively create and, you know, get engaged with that kind of lifestyle and career needs when you're dealing with so much at home. You got to take care of somebody.
Which is why I always question, why was it Selena who their mom had to go stay with? She has two other sisters. Why couldn't the mom?
One's a nurse.
Yeah, and one's a nurse. So I don't understand why the mom had to go to one of those. And then Selena, she's already working on a couple albums. She's working on the one with Music Soul Child, which we reported last week. And I like the song. They're doing a reggae album together. You know, it's very it's just, it has a nice flow to it. I like the song.
I think the bigger issue with that, and I said it before, is just the fact that neither one of the sisters want to deal with the mom at the present moment. So I really think if it get too bad, it'll be from house to house that her mom would go to, or her mom would just go back home. So they're basically trying Selena. Maybe Selena has a bigger house. Who knows?
That's probably the only thing I thought. Maybe there's kids in the best room.
Well,
space-wise with that.
I'll just say this and then we can move on. I think that with all the multiple albums that she's doing, Music Soul Child told her, you know, you're wearing too many hats. And then she's dealing with her biological mom, and then she's dealing with the other mama, Angie Stone, trying to, you know, play mama to everyone else. So I just feel like it's too much, and I also feel that Brenda needs to go to counseling herself, but she's not willing to, so it's just kind of one of those things. But speaking of parents, so we got to see Monifah's daughter in last night's episode. We got to see her daughter last night, and so Therese, which is Monifah's partner, is toying around with the idea of wanting to propose to Monifah. The only issue is in New York, where Therese is, it's legal to have same-sex marriages, which in Atlanta, where Monifah is at, that law hasn't passed. But however, she wants to marry and propose to Monifah, and so she goes to Monifah's daughter. What do you guys think about that?
I thought it was a great representation of things that our society goes through nowadays. I think with the way sports and there's a lot of groundbreaking things happening, you know, I feel like that's something that's going to be more common for kids to have to deal with. And I thought it was a great representation of you can have your beliefs, you should be able to communicate with anybody and coexist. And this is a situation where, you know, her mother's chosen to live that way. She has a partner, it's gone to that extent, and the daughter is still a Christian and believes in things that Christian values have, that the values that Christians have, and to the certain kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought they respected each other. I mean, there's going to be a situation where not everybody's going to agree with you, you know what I mean? And you don't have to all of a sudden hate each other or, you know, I thought her bringing up the whole, this issue could break up a family, and that's something that I don't want to happen, I won't allow happen. I thought that was very important. I think that, I mean, like I said, you may be you, I may be me, and that person may be that person. But what matters is that we're able to coexist and not hurt each other.
My tongue is just, I have to say this. So you said that the daughter feels that, you know, her mom chose to make a decision. There are some people that out there who are listening and watching may disagree and say it was not something that she chose.
Well,
I just want to say that.
Lifestyle-wise.
Okay.
I mean, what you believe or what you think inside, you don't have any choice, or how you feel, you don't have any choice. But it doesn't mean that you necessarily have to walk in those shoes. Like, if I was somebody who felt I was homosexual and I was living on the DL, then I'm contradicting myself. But if I'm homosexual and I decide to live a homosexual life and be proud of who I am and coexist with anybody else, then that was a choice. Monifah made a choice and has a partner, so they made a choice to come together and want to engage in holy matrimony, which is something that is, you know, controversial for her daughter, but at the same time, because her mother made that choice with her lifestyle, not necessarily based off of how she feels inside and what she believes herself, it's still the same situation where she made a choice to, you know, not be scared, which was what, you know, you shouldn't be scared of being who you are or deciding the choices that you make. You shouldn't, if I decide to smoke weed, I'm not going to smoke weed just in my car. I'm going to smoke weed in front of all my friends and anybody else who do and don't like it. Same gist.
Great. Hey, that kind of posed a great question to everyone. Did Terez do a great thing by asking Monifah's daughter about pretty much her mom's hand in marriage? So let's go to iTunes. Please check us out on iTunes. You can rate us. Please rate us. Please leave the comments that we have about the question posing. Did Terez do the right thing by asking Monifah's daughter about asking Monifah's hand in marriage? But also, download iTunes, the AFTERBUZZ application on your iPhone, Android. Please rate us. Give us 5 stars. We want to kind of hear your opinions and comments about the show, what we can do to make the show better, to make it more entertaining for you guys. Go to iTunes.com.
All right. So were you guys surprised that Monifah's daughter, whose mom is gay, are you surprised that she has the feelings that she has, although her mom is?
I mean, you never know. I mean,
I just think
Atlanta is a big city that has a large population of homosexuality, so I feel like it's something that's majorly exposed out there amongst the kids. But I mean, I think your personal choice or your reaction to things is something that you can't necessarily control. And I think the most important thing is to, you know, find what you do believe in, stand on that, and then like be able to talk and communicate with people of opposite opinions, so that maybe one day you'll be more open-minded. But if you don't have a real choice, I think that's your biggest thing. Just don't go out there, I don't really have a feeling or whatever. Like, think that's how I care.
I think the biggest thing about her daughter is that, you know, she's been kind of been raised up, and she probably have a relationship with her father. And again, like she said, you know, that's pretty much a decision between you and my mom. But, you know, I don't agree or disagree. But at the same time, in religious belief, you know, it's thought of to basically for a man and woman to be with each other. She's like, I will give you my prayers and everything. I'm not gonna say don't do it, but if that's what y'all feel, you know, that's y'all go ahead and do it. And I kind of respect her for her response of what she kind of gave Terez, because again, at the end of the day, it's Monifah and Terez's decision what happens, and her daughter, like, she's old enough to really understand, like, okay, you know what, that's your choice, I'm gonna make my choice.
And that's great to show maturity in a situation like that. She could have ran, acted crazy, or, you know, you ain't my mama. It just, like, it's good to see, you know, us as people, but just people in general, you know, taking the higher road, taking the more conscious decisions, and being able to handle things or show people how to properly handle situations like that.
Yeah. And if you know, if you go back to season 1, her Monifah's daughter was very vocal then when she told her about her partner Therese. You know, her daughter then said, you know, I don't agree with it, but you know, kind of if you like it, I love it, kind of thing.
Yeah, so it's your decision. I can't tell you not to do it because you are my mom, and because of the fact that with the society that we have, it is welcoming on all levels now. So it's like if that's what you like, that's what you do, you know. But at the same time, I'm gonna be a person, you know, a heterosexual person to respect my own opinion as of what I do also. So
yeah, I totally give her props because to see a child vocally express their opinion and their disagreements with what the lifestyle that their parent lives, I think that's courageous, and I commend her for standing on her own. So, yeah. So now let's get into the more controversial topic that came in last night's episode. Okay, so Nikki. The show started off with Nikki having to knock on the door. So her girls from Brownstone comes in, and the two girls were the two girls' name is what were the two girls' names? It was I can't find it right now.
Brownstone affiliates.
Oh, Tisha Max. Tisha Max. Brownstone, they hadn't recorded in 17 years, so I honestly, I could not, if those were the original members, I couldn't tell. I honestly could not tell. I remember one girl, she left and she had a solo career, Kiona or something like that.
Are those the original members, or are those the second members who kind of like took over Brownstone after they kind of gave Nikki the rights to everything of Brownstone?
I have no idea because I honestly could not recognize any of those girls.
Yeah, I think it's probably the girls from the second set of Brownstone.
That's what I'm thinking. And those girls, and no disregard to Nikki, but those girls look younger.
Yeah.
They look younger than Nikki, so they look like they've been kind of, like you said, the replacement girls.
They're like the Temptations.
Yeah, it's right, because the Temptations and had a slew of
everybody replace it. We gonna keep the name.
Yeah. And so Nikki says that she wants to, you know, give this thing a go. And I liked how one of the girls is like, hold on one second. What's the purpose? You know, like they wanted to know exactly why we here. You know, we flew all the way to Atlanta. They was like, okay, why we here?
Are we going to really do it?
That was like the epitome of what was like a viewing of what that relationship probably was.
Exactly.
It was like, you could obviously tell that everybody was, Nikki's running that whole situation. I probably was the dominating character. Obviously the girls flew there. Obviously they don't even know what was going on, but they hoping Brownstone was coming on. But they was like, I hope this can't be another false start. Which shows that the reason why they be stopping ain't because of them.
Boom. Yeah. Exactly.
So everybody sees that, you know, the drama is Nikki.
Yeah. One of the girls is like, I'm not in a position to start and stop again. So if we're gonna do this, let's do this. So you're right. That shows really that the bigger issue is probably Nikki Gilbert.
Yeah, it just shows, you gotta look at the way people interact. There's not so much what you say is what the meaning behind the questions. Like, why would you be concerned about that? Why would you fly out here if you don't even know exactly what's going on?
Thank you.
You're in a position where you.
I just think that, you know, the girls are in a position where they feel like if we're gonna do it, let's do 100%. Let's really make it successful. And again, like she says, like, hey, we haven't recorded. Brownstone haven't had no music out in 17 years. That's kind of a big gap to kind of come back in the industry and trying to reunite and try to rebuild a brand from 17 years ago. So I'm kind of curious to kind of see what's going to happen with that, because 17 years of not doing anything at all. Who's your dedicated fans?
Well, I think they just hope that her Nikki wave of what she's done solo, then the whole she had a girl group, bring it back. Remember those two songs and
But as you can see, like the track record with Nikki, it hasn't been great at all. Every time she starts to do something, it fails. So again, you got to kind of look at like what is the bigger picture and what is the bigger issue. As we go further on in this episode, we get to see what the issue is.
You want to explain what happens when she brings the girls to that little venue?
So Nikki brings the girl to the venue and, you know, kind of explains to them that, hey, you know, I'm doing a charity event. I'm doing it for, is it underprivileged women or abused women?
Yeah, it was, they were at the Sugar Hill venue, some little place in Atlanta, and it's the reunion or it's the reemergence of Brownstone.
Yeah.
It's a charity event, and then they are doing makeovers for 21 women who have been abused or they've had a hard time.
So it's kind of a lot going on in this whole, like, reuniting Brownstone, because first of all, you're reuniting the group and everybody, but of course you're gonna have your select fans. But then it's like a total makeover for 21 people. But then it's like a charity event. So won't you just say it's a charity event where what we're doing is Brownstone will be playing as reuniting.
As the entertainment.
Exactly, but not like, hey, it's the event where Brownstone is reuniting. This is our event. So you got 3 events going on in one. So it's kind of like suspect off top when she kind of explains to everybody. 'Cause everybody's looking at her with like, hey, what are you really talking about? You know, like, you telling us 3 different things. Like, what do you want us to do?
And then what's interesting, after Selena last week just said, it was my fault, I learned my lesson, I should have never did the video with Nikki there in the first place.
Yeah.
Why the hell did Selena show up to this
Again,
invite
like,
in the
Selena,
first place?
like, she's a friend overall.
I think she's just a bigger person.
Yeah,
it
she
just takes a bigger person to
she
do
invited the divas out, so she's looking for the help and support of each and every single person. But again, Selena has a good heart. Everything that went between her and Nikki, she's still supportive of the diva and she's supportive of Nikki from a distance. So you got to kind of, I give big ups to Selena, because again, she's there. She's being supportive. No matter what, no matter how many times Nikki stabbed her in the back and be disrespectful to her, she's still supporting her in the things that she do. At least hear her out about what she wants to do. But like Selena said, hey, I don't think I'm going to partake in the performance part of it. I donate to you guys, but I won't take part of the performance. And I kind of applaud her for that, because again, she's basically separating her relationship between her and Nikki and letting all the other individual girls know that, hey, you know, I'm here for y'all, but I can't do business and I can't work with Nikki.
Okay, and we also forgot to mention that in addition to it being the reunion of Brownstone, the charity events, and the 21 makeovers for women in need, then she wants all the divas to come and do a song at the end for the finale. So that's where it becomes a big concert. Yeah, that's where it becomes literally a big concert. I just feel that Nikki has stabbed you in the back, the gut. She didn't put your hair weave out. I mean, she's done so many things. I think it would be safer if she just not have shown up. Luckily, everything didn't go. There was no drama, but there was no drama because it was something that Nikki needed a favor. She wanted people to do something for her. So I just feel like to prevent you from having to, you know, get turned up, just don't show up. That's just how I feel.
I mean, I just think Selena did it in a respectable way, like a woman should do. Just like, I'm gonna let you know right now, I'm not gonna come. She didn't go behind her back and you know, talk about the issue or the situation. She's like, hey, you know, I would donate, you know, financially, but I will not come. I will not perform.
Yeah, she said she would sponsor one of the women, so she would, you know.
But I think that was important and key, because with her being there, then they see that it's not like she's just trying to add fuel to the fire. It's really just Nikki. It's really just Nikki being able to put herself and make an ass of herself. She's like, just stay there, stay a part of the team, and you know, the truth shows. And it's showing it more and more. The girls are looking like, you know what, this girl just, she's crazy. Always something going on now.
I would say Kiki's
Before
crazy.
it was like they couldn't tell because there was so much battling between them, and when 2 people fight, it's something to look at, and then you question who's really the bad guy. But when you see one person attacking, and then somebody handling something professionally or the right way, all of a sudden you start looking at the person who's always turned up.
Because you look at Nikki, like her facial expression, like when Selena tells her, hey, I won't be there, Nikki kind of look at it with like the stank face, like, why'd you even come anyway?
So again, I was getting ready to mention that I think only because Nikki she wanted a favor. That was the only reason why she was nice. But had Selena,
if it was the 2 of them by themselves, Nikki would have got crump. She would have got like crump and felt like, yo, I don't need you. I'm better than you. Why are you even here? I don't know why I asked you to come. And those are the type of response I think if it was just Nikki and Selena, that Nikki would have gave Selena.
Yeah.
Like a 2-punch, like, I got you, gut check.
So we go into Selena, and so Selena basically says, I won't perform, but I will donate. Boom.
Yeah.
She was done with the situation. Now let's go into Latasha, because Latasha
became a little sneaky. She was just looked like,
but
I don't even know if she wanted just to be more part of the show, or she got a little Angie Stone bite on her, to where all of a sudden she started doing the whole, let me meet up with people, let me start some fires, put people together to talk about the issue. I thought that was kind of real setup-ish.
Yeah, I think overall, like, they should have came together outside of Nikki and talk about it amongst each other and see how they feel about it. But I think all the little small meetups and groups and stuff, what it does is, just, again, you just kind of feeding off
Yeah,
you feeding off negativity from someone else, and now you just feel like, oh well, I don't want to do it because of this. I don't know why she did this and this, and in a way, it's kind of like tit for tat, and I just think it's just immature.
Let me just play devil's advocate. It was apparent how Selena felt, obviously, because of what Nikki's done. Latasha, at that meeting, she just kind of sat there, I believe, with her arms folded, and she just kind of looked. But I don't think that's a part of Latasha's character to call a big meeting. Like, she went to Selena. I don't know why she went to Selena, because we never seen the two of them meet. So I don't know why her and Rocky. I don't know why Latasha and Rocky. And I said,
so
and Rock's my boy, because I love how he was like, you're going to put all of these women who have sold millions of records, you're going to put them in a building that's the size of a high school prom or the size of Chuck E. Cheese.
Barney going to be there?
It was pretty bad. But I guess, you know, in reference to, you know, with Latasha, Rocky, and Selena, just the verification, just to let Rocky know, hey, this is what really happened. This is Selena, how Selena feel about it. And everything. Yeah, I didn't think he really played a big part. Like, yeah, it was kind of comical and stuff. But at the same time, at the end of the day, like, Latasha had a certain feeling the way she felt. And, you know, she just wanted to kind of, talk to Selena about it with Rocky, her manager, and everything. But they kind of
husband.
Yeah, her husband. But at the same time, they just made a key point to where it's that, hey, you know, and he said it's like, it's the same, she's doing the same thing that you and Selena was trying to do, put a tour together and wanting everyone to perform. She's just doing in a manner of, hey, it's for a charity event, but I'm still gonna have all these divas perform for my event, which I think was trifling.
Well,
the trifling part was the fact that the foundation wasn't together.
Wait, hold on. We're gonna get on that. But I will say this, Latasha, because I know you're watching. I do think it was Alfred. I do agree with you. I do think it was quite a little shady, because we've never seen you have any kind of private conversations with Selena. So I do feel that was a little messy. But I love it.
But I think, like, right now, like, what it is, everybody's starting to form, like, trying to see who's what. You know what I mean? And again, it probably before, she probably didn't meet up with her because, you know, her and Nikki were always kind of going battling back and forth. But now she kind of seeing the true character of Nikki, and now you kind of look at it like, oh, well, Selena's not the bad person. You know, she didn't send that email blast out about the Divas being on tour, and you know, Selena is a reasonable person that I can kind of like work with and be a friend with and do business with. So everything's not like Selena the way Nikki kind of like picture her to be. But at the same time, Latasha probably feel like, you know what, I can talk to her because she's sensible. Because again, she don't have any ties with the show, and she already said she's not gonna do the show. So she probably feel like, hey, I can talk to her.
You're right, Latasha. I take that back.
I got you, Latasha, girl. Don't worry about it.
My bad, Latasha. I take it back. I take it back.
Stand on my ground. That's snaky. But it's all good.
But I'm just looking for a business perspective.
One thing I was going to say, though, with this particular situation, it's not like I blame her to be a sneaky person, but being around these particular women and how they handle things and how all the craziness that goes on, you end up, I guess, getting involved in how to play the game almost. So I think that was her pulling the Angie move and realizing that I have to section off these women to really get into what's going on. But I still think that's like, it can be informative if you come at it that way, but it can also add to the fire, which became, although they were talking about the situation and it was something to make fun of, I thought there was a little bit of a Keisha Cole in there with Beyonce and Michelle in them, where it was just like you just tweeted on them. You know what I'm saying? You tweeted your hate, and I think you could have broke that down professionally and been like, you know, I just think with the the caliber of women we have, that's just not a venue that will adequately withstand your kind of performances that you do. No, they were like, the Barneys and that, and I thought it was funny. I thought it was great comedic timing, but at the same time, I think that's what happens when you go running around talking about issues like that with other people. If you feed into that kind of energy, all of a sudden, you become that kind of person.
Can we talk about that venue just for a second? All right, so when Nikki was in there, you know, giving her instruction, I mean, literally, this was the stage, and then this was the step. So you have the stage. This is where the girls will be performing, and then just a step down will be where everyone's watching.
Yeah, it was pretty kind of like, you know, I'm putting on my first performance ever. And yeah, it was kind of elementary schoolish.
But like I said, I don't know what the purpose really of that whole thing was, and hopefully it was for the abused women and all that, but it felt like it was so much going on that it couldn't have been the source of why everybody came together. You know, whether or not it was done right or professionally, it still was mishandled in the sense that the women, it'd be one thing if they had a great venue, had a great experience for the women to enjoy. They wouldn't even look at it like it was a whack thing. They'd be like, oh, okay, this is a real dope thing we could do, and they probably would have wanted to sing. But if it looked like a high school gym or high school prom, like they said, then of course they're gonna come in it like that.
I think the venue selection was real bad, and I just think it was just an opportunity for Nikki.
But her business when it comes to her and the store and the daughter, that's not too well prepared.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I just think it wasn't well prepared, and she was really just trying to do something just for Brownstone. But she, you know, I think the bigger issue is that she want to involve the divas, so the fact that it can be more successful than what it is with the Brownstone. Because you look at, Angie Stone's performing, you got Kiki performing, you have Selena performing, you have Monifah perform. So then it's going to bring out a crowd because of all these other performers at the event. But I don't think Nikki is able to basically to pull off an event like that to be successful, especially after 17 years of absence in the music industry.
We're going to get into Monifah and Angie Stone in just a second, but what was also I found interesting was the fact that Brownstone or Nikki went and got choreographers. She went and got an agent and choreographer.
I just thought that was so funny. I think that was just like over the top because that's not Brownstone themselves. Exactly. So you know,
she's talking about like, you know, I want it to be like when Beyonce was at the Super Bowl and Destiny's Child, you know.
But that's not you. That's not Brownstone. Y'all don't have that type of music.
Right.
Yeah, that's what happens when you try to reinvent yourself or come back. You always end up.
But at the same time, they don't have the music to reinvent themselves right now. They're playing their old music from 17 years ago. For her to have a choreography like your song basically really requires you to do 1-2 step left, right, and just kind of like bob. I'm singing, and like she said when she first walked in, and she's like, well, you know, we don't do choreography because all I do is sing. But now she's trying to really trying to implement choreography in the show. I think it's gonna be a disaster. I don't think the show's gonna happen.
I think the show's gonna happen. It's gonna be horrible.
I really think it's gonna be bad.
Okay, so Monifah and Angie Stone has a discussion now with Latasha. So Latasha went and had a meeting with her husband, manager Rocky, and Selena, and now she has a meeting with Angie and Monifah.
Like feeds it to the energy. Once you get a good laugh, you be like, "Ooh, I'm gonna talk to them. I bet you they got jokes to say too."
But I think the whole meeting is probably more so of Angie Stone, just kind of get the idea and the feeling of what everyone else think. And just so happened that, you know, Selena's not in the meeting because Selena already said, "Hey, I'm not gonna perform." But at the same, so she already knows Selena's feeling about it. And I think just her, Monifah, and Latasha meeting up is basically an Angie Stone idea because that's what Angie does.
But something that Latasha did that I thought was interesting, that when she was having the meeting with the two young ladies, she did reveal information that, you know, basically she had been having conversations with Nikki, and she revealed that Nikki has always told Latasha that she's always wanted, well, as of lately, she wants to get back with Brownstone and she really wants to get into this, but not at one time had charity ever been mentioned with the tour with Brownstone.
Yeah, like the charity thing and, you know, doing something for the battered, abused women, that's just something new. And I think that's just more of a sympathy thing that Nikki's using to get all the ladies involved. Because you can't say no to a charity and you can't really say no to abused women because of the fact that you're giving back to the community.
And that's exactly what Angie said. Angie said, you're gonna, but again, Nikki's she's very smart, because Angie said, you're gonna bring all of us here together, not knowing what we're here for. You're gonna drop a bomb on us that you're having a concert or a charity event. So are we really supposed to say no?
Yeah.
So she totally played them like a deck of cards.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She kind of used a sympathy card for the charity event and for the abused women. Again, like I said, you can't say no because there's a lot of great charities out there and a lot of great charities that a lot of people do events for charity, whether it's music events, whether it's walkathon to help raise awareness about a charity. And again, for like abused women, you're kind of giving back to a community. So it's like you're kind of giving to multiple people in one entire situation because you're giving to a charity and organization, but you're also giving back to battered and abused women in a community. So you're kind of like you're helping the community out, but you're also helping the charity out on a bigger scale.
She just should have got with an established foundation or something. I thought, I said, it just became more of a weird thing to look at.
And so now let's get into the Angie Stone. So Angie goes to her place of business and she confronts her. Who wants to go first?
Well, Angie goes to Nikki and confronts her just about the whole charity and trying to do the donation that she said she was going to give $100. You know what I'm saying?
Wait.
Which I thought was very funny. I don't know. $100 is a lot of money, and it's very hard to work
Not to Angie Stone.
and get that.
According to CelebrityNetWorth.com, Angie Stone is worth $10 million. I'm
Put
just
your
saying.
money out there.
I'm just saying.
Well, I thought it was a little, for her to be like, she's first class, be walking around with the motorcycle with a face on it and all that. It sounded, but I thought she saw or could feel that it was something going on in the air regardless, which would make me okay with what she said. But when it comes to a real foundation, I would hope that would be a lot more than that.
I think what it was is that Angie kind of threw $100 out there because she kind of felt like the mockery of what Nikki was trying to do and trying to use it and basically like manipulate everyone to kind of come into do this event for her overall, because I'm pretty sure she gives more than $100 to any type of charity because, again, first of all, it's a tax write-off, and second of all is that, you know, she's worth $10 million overall. That's the first thing. But at the second thing, like when she addresses the issue to Nikki, which is great for her to come in and do that because, again, she had her opinion, she had questions that she wanted answered because, again, like she said, she did her research, as anybody should do their research when you kind of doing any type of event, because then you want to kind of know who's going to be there, what type of event's going to be there. You know, is it a real organization, and who am I helping out?
And she said that she Googled and looked up the divasandwildflower.org and that there was no information. And then then Nikki tries to say that the organization is not established.
It's from her daughter. It's something like her daughter thought about doing this stuff and it's not established. And it's just like, how you gonna ask somebody to do something for a charity event or something that's not even established? You're taking money, you're taking donations from individuals for something that's not even established. That's like me saying like, yo, hey, Black, let me get $100 in.
And
but
then
it's showing what your true desires are.
And then Nikki said that I never said that it was charity. And then they go back and they rewind to the clip. And they showed the clip. I mean, Nikki completely showed her ass. And what I found was interesting is when Nikki was steaming some clothes and Angie came in, she's like, hey, come on in here. I ought to steam yourself with your skinny self. Then, as they're fighting and going on in the confessionals, she was like, I wanted to
snatch that chair into your big ass. I was like, you're so rude because the fact that, you know, you being called out.
Yeah, that showed she was called out. It's like I said, it's not necessarily what you say is what's going on and what it represents. But Nikki there's so much that was going on.
She also told Angie, like, hey, you think Brownstone needs you, but you really look at Angie is a reputable, she's in the industry, she's reinventing herself, she's been in the industry, continuously is growing within the industry. Brownstone hasn't done nothing in 17 years. Yes, Nikki, you need her. You need her to bring people out. You need her to perform at your event because what else do you have?
And I love
nothing.
And I love the fact that she says that we are the only group that Michael Jackson's hands laid on, and the fact that, you know, Brownstone can basically, you know, do without you.
You gonna thrive off because Michael Jackson because he laid his hands on you? No, that's old and that's dead. That's 17 years ago. But what do you have now? Music has changed. Everything is digital right now. Now everything you have is on like record players and stuff. Like seriously, it's outdated. Like she's outdated, and she really feels like, hey, Brownstone has an opportunity to come back without the help of other people. I don't think so.
And how can Nikki feel offended? I don't understand how she could feel offended when
it's guilt.
It's like being caught with your pants down.
Like,
if you see somebody in the mirror looking at themselves, and all of a sudden you catch them, they all of a sudden feel a certain way. They're gonna do a reaction, get mad, lash out, or whatever, because they're embarrassed.
You know what it is? The bigger issue is that Nikki felt like, man, these are my friends. They're not going to question me. But now questions start to arise amongst everyone. So Angie calls her out on all the questions. So now she feels guilty because she don't know how to respond and answer all these questions anymore because they starting to ask questions. They starting to ask questions about the charity, start asking questions about the event, they start asking questions about Nikki character. So now she's like, it's like backing somebody into a corner. What do? She gets mad. She gets angry. Same thing she do at every single time she get a disagreement with somebody. She gets mad. She gets angry. She feel like, oh, I can out-talk you, and then you're going to shut up.
What was interesting is when she said, I'm offended and you pissed me off, Angie's song said, what are you going to do about it?
Exactly.
And Angie says, nothing. I'm going to say thank you and goodbye.
Again, like everybody's treating her as a professional woman, someone who knows how to do business. Like, I'm not going to sit and argue with you. I'm just going to state the facts to you. And a lot of times when you state the facts to people, they kind of look at it like, oh, I got that old face. You know what I mean? Whereas that I wasn't expecting for them to kind of ask these type of questions. And Selena does the same thing too. But again, everybody's starting to really see Nikki's character. Nikki's character is really it's dirty.
Yeah. It's very dirty, and speaking...
And not thought through.
No, not thought through at all. We are short on time, so let's go really quickly into news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
Okay, so two things. The R&B Divas LA cast, they announced on their website of VH1 that they're going to do that they're going to premiere 3 days early on VOD, which is voice on demand. And so they're going to premiere the season premiere episode on July 7th, which is 3 days earlier than the actual premiere, which is July 10th. So look out for that. If you guys want to catch R&B Divas LA early, you guys can watch it on VOD July 7th. And then also this past Tuesday here in LA at the LA Theater, there was a R&B Diva season 2 reunion. So
yeah,
and that's gonna air sometime in July. So once we are done with the finale, we'll come back and we'll get into all of the details about what happens. And it's the part 2. It's gonna be a reunion, part 1 and part 2. So we'll be here and
that's gonna be turned up.
Yeah,
like super turned up.
All right, and so now let's go into predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
All right, Mr. Alfred.
I think I want to see what happens with Monifah. Thank you. And her girlfriend's relationship and where it goes with the daughter. I think they're going to be able to work past their issues, but I think it still they'll stand on the same beliefs.
I think the issue with Monifah and the marriage, I think is really going to be like a problem between Therese and Monifah. But at the same time, I think that it's going to be a bigger issue with Nikki and all the other divas because what Nikki's doing right now is really kind of like she's losing the trust in each and every single one of the divas. So I think it's gonna be a real controversy with that. Something's really gonna happen. It's gonna blow up.
Yeah, the only preview that they showed was with Monifah, but I think this issue is not done with the whole charity event. I think it's gonna blow up, and I can't wait for next week's finale to find out exactly what happens with that. But just really quickly with Therese and Monifah, the issue is she wants to marry Monifah. She wants to propose. The issue is Therese does not want to move to Atlanta because the same-sex marriage is not recognized in the state of Atlanta, but it is in New York. So from Therese's perspective, she doesn't want to have anything to do with Atlanta. She wants the two of them to move to New York. And Monifah is from New York, but Monifah's career is more important in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So that's a bigger issue. And that's it for now. So what we have to do is we have to go, but next week we'll be back for the season finale. So make sure you guys tune in. Please let everyone know where we can find you.
You can find me at All Eyes on Black spelled correctly, or Alfred Thomas on Facebook. Look for my face.
And you can find me at Larice Shamar. Also check out TruePeoplesMedia.com.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Bamm Ericsen. And you can also find me at Big Six Entertainment. That's BIGGSIXX Entertainment spelled out on Twitter and Instagram. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week for R&B Diva Season 2 season finale.
From Bing.com, executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.